The film opens with an emotionally raw scene. Two sisters, Spider and Jessie, tearfully hovering over the lifeless body of their mother, JC, who has just died from a drug overdose. Desperate to avoid being separated by the foster system, the girls secretly hide her body in a shed, locking it inside a trunk. Jessie, heartbroken, takes her mother's locket as a keepsake. Spider makes a chilling vow: they must tell no one, or risk being torn apart forever. As they try to maintain a facade of normal life, their mother's phone keeps ringing. It's Reese, JC's volatile boyfriend. Spider avoids the calls and urges Jessie to do the same, even making her remove the locket before school to avoid suspicion. But despite her warnings, Spider confides in her best friend, Alexis, who is shocked to hear the truth. Alexis worries others will notice JC's absence, but Spider assures her that their mother had been so absent in life, no one is likely to care now. Things begin to unravel when Reese shows up looking for JC. Thinking fast, Spider lies, saying JC left with another woman. Furious, Reese demands to hear from her. His visit shakes the girls, especially Jessie, who fears he'll come back. Later that night, with food running low, Spider promises they'll survive until the welfare money comes through. Just 6 more days. When the money finally arrives, the girls splurge on snacks and share a brief moment of joy, only to be interrupted by Cody, a local grocery store worker, who snaps their picture. Suspicious of his intentions, Spider confronts him, but he brushes her off, and the encounter leaves her uneasy. Their fragile cover story starts to collapse when a voicemail arrives from Paula, a child protective services worker, saying she's coming by for a welfare check. In a panic, the girls clean their house, scramble to move their mother's car, and fabricate a story about JC being at a job interview. When Paula arrives, the girls maintain their lie, presenting a clean home, a stock kitchen, and their mother's old teaching certificate as proof of stability. Paula seems convinced, for now, and leaves with instructions for JC to call her. The girls have managed to survive one more day without being discovered, but the cracks are beginning to show, and the danger of exposure looms larger with every passing moment. Still shaken from the recent welfare check, Jessie fears that Paula might return. But Spider, hardened by experience, reassures her. Caseworkers come and go. None of them ever stay long. Meanwhile, we're introduced to Sheriff Ben, who's investigating a tragic crash involving 2 addicts. Both were high, behind the wheel, but miraculously, their 2 young children survived. That night, Ben returns home to find his daughter, Alexis, hanging out with Spider, her best friend. During dinner, Spider mentions she'll take the bus home because her mom is busy, but Ben insists on driving her, not wanting her out alone at night. When they arrive at Spider's house, Ben casually mentions that he and JC went to school together and asks to say hello. Thinking quickly, Spider tells him her mom is too nervous about an upcoming job interview to see anyone. Inside, Jessie is furious that Spider let the sheriff bring her home, especially after she wasn't even allowed to ride with a friend's grandma. Later that night, Spider does something rare. She apologizes. Jessie is stunned. Her tough older sister never says sorry. Then, with tears in her eyes, Jessie quietly asks, "How long can we keep living like this?" The next day, Spider visits the bus station, clearly considering running away. When the clerk asks her age, Spider hesitantly replies, 15. Sensing something's wrong, the woman warns her, "It's rough out there for girls like you." She even offers to call someone, but Spider bolts before she can. Later, at the local supermarket, Spider runs into Cody, the cashier who once took her picture. To her surprise, he gives her the printed photo. She smiles, the first genuine one in days. Cody invites her to hang out sometime, maybe take pictures together. Spider brushes him off. At home, Jessie finds the picture and teases her about it. Spider admits Cody invited her out, but says she turned him down. She can't risk letting anyone get too close. But Jessie encourages her. It's okay to have a little fun, you know. Taking her sister's advice to heart, Spider meets up with Cody the next day. He takes her on a motorcycle ride, stopping briefly at a rundown motel to drop off photos to a man named Dennis. Then, they head to the woods, where Cody teaches her how to use a camera, capturing nature, light, and moments she never thought to look for. Back at Spider's house, Sheriff Ben returns to check in on JC. No one answers the door, and the house seems locked up tight. He notices JC's car still parked outside, raising suspicions. As he approaches the shed, something catches his attention, but just before he can investigate, he's called away to an emergency. Elsewhere, Cody shows Spider his darkroom. She notices Dennis in one of the prints and asks about him. Cody explains that Dennis used to deal drugs. After his wife died from an overdose, the state took his kids. Now he scrapes by selling bootleg liquor and knockoffs. When it's time to leave, Spider asks Cody to drop her off a few blocks from home. She doesn't want to be seen with a boy. Before she goes, Cody lends her a digital camera, encouraging her to keep shooting. It's a small gesture, but it means everything to her. For a while, life settles into a fragile rhythm. The sisters cling to bits of normalcy. But one afternoon at a diner, their peace is shattered. Reese, their mother's unstable boyfriend, shows up, furious that JC still hasn't returned his calls. Spider lies, claiming their mom is getting clean and wants no contact. Reese doesn't care. He demands the $300 JC owes him by Friday. Now the girls are truly desperate. Barely able to afford food, Spider tries pawning the camera Cody gave her, but the shop owner only offers $50. With no other option, she makes a heartbreaking decision. She pawns her mother's locket, the last thing she has left of her. The pawn shop owner agrees to hold the locket for 2 weeks, but warns Spider it'll cost double to get it back. That night, with dread in her chest, Spider visits Reese at his trailer and hands over the $300. She begs him to leave her and her sister alone for good. But Reese doesn't back off. Instead, he invites her in with a sick grin, claiming he wants to show her what made her mom go crazy. Terrified, Spider tries to leave, but Reese sneers, saying there's no way JC is sober if she's letting her daughter show up here alone. Panicked, Spider bolts from the trailer as Reese calls after her. "I'm not done with you yet." She races home and heads straight to the shed. There, in a flood of rage and heartbreak, she kicks the trunk where their mother's body lies hidden and breaks down in sobs, screaming at JC, cursing her for leaving them behind in this nightmare. The next day, desperate for answers, Spider searches online and discovers she has to be 18 and financially stable to adopt her sister. That night, Jesse notices the locket is gone. Spider brushes it off, claiming it'll turn up soon. But before Jesse can ask more, a voicemail from Ben plays. He's inviting JC and the girls to dinner. The sisters freeze, fear immediately taking over. In a last-ditch effort, Spider tracks down Dennis at the rundown motel and begs him to forge a fake ID to make her appear over 18. Dennis agrees, but names his price. Spider admits she's broke. Seeing her fear and resolve, Dennis softens and asks her why she needs it so badly. Later, while hanging out with Alexis, Spider shares her plan. Once she gets the fake ID, she'll land a job and take legal custody of Jesse. When everything's ready, she'll tell her. Alexis listens, heartbroken, realizing her best friend is planning to disappear for good. After receiving the monthly welfare deposit, Spider rushes back to the pawn shop, hoping to reclaim Cody's camera. But it's already been sold. Instead, she buys a cheap replacement, but can't afford to get the locket back. She quietly walks out. Spider later visits Cody to return the new camera, but he tells her it wasn't necessary. He invites her to hang out again. At first, she resists, but eventually agrees. The two spend the day in the woods, laughing, taking photos, and sharing something Spider hasn't felt in a long time, a sense of freedom. The next morning, Jessie, who suffers from asthma, reminds her sister that her inhaler is almost empty. Spider promises to refill it after school. But before they can leave, there's a knock at the door. It's Paula, the CPS worker. She enters the house through the back, calling out for JC. The girls hide in silence. Paula scans the home, sensing something's wrong. She notices the locked shed and tries to open it, but it's bolted shut. Unnerved, she warns that if she doesn't hear from JC by the end of the day, she's calling the sheriff. After Paula leaves, Jesse, drained and on edge, says maybe it's time they just tell the truth. Spider refuses. "We can't. Not yet," and bolts out to find Dennis. But he's nowhere to be found. He's in court, fighting for custody of his own children. That evening, Jesse once again asks about the locket. This time, Spider tells the truth. She sold it. Jesse is heartbroken. Spider snaps, telling her that their mother didn't care about the locket, or them. The only thing she cared about was getting high. Jesse pushes back. She wasn't all bad. She loved us. She tried. But Spider has had enough. She reveals how JC once left baby Jesse crying outside in the cold, and how Spider had to save her from freezing. Worse, she confesses that Jesse's asthma was caused by their mother's drug use during pregnancy. Jesse can't take it. She runs out of the house in tears, her chest tightening. As she gasps for air, she reaches for her inhaler, but it's empty. Moments later, Spider finds her unconscious, lying in the dirt. Panic sets in. In a moment of pure panic, Spider dials 911, but the dispatcher warns the ambulance will take time to arrive. With no other choice, she drives Jessie to the hospital herself. Upon arrival, doctors rush Jessie into treatment, but refuse to give Spider any updates. They need a legal guardian. Shortly after, Sheriff Ben arrives, having been contacted by the hospital. He speaks to the doctors, then gently tells Spider that Jessie is stable. Overwhelmed, Spider breaks down, blaming herself for not refilling the inhaler in time. But Ben, steady and kind, reminds her, "You're her sister, not her mother." He then asks where JC is, but Spider can't bring herself to answer. She only pleads with him not to separate them. Jessie is discharged later that night, and the girls spend the night at Alexis's house. Meanwhile, Ben confides in his wife that JC hasn't been seen for weeks. Not by CPS, not by anyone. His wife suggests the girls could stay with them temporarily, but Ben knows the system too well. Over 70 kids are already waiting for placement. The odds of the sisters staying together? Slim to none. The next morning, Ben drives them to school and promises Spider that he'll find their mother. But as soon as he leaves, Spider reveals to Alexis her real plan. They're leaving today. Alexis, teary-eyed, gives her some money, and the two share a heartfelt goodbye. Spider races to Dennis's motel, picks up the fake ID, then returns to school to collect Jessie. Back at home, she frantically begins packing. Jessie is confused until Spider finally tells her the truth. They need to disappear. The authorities are closing in, and if they don't run, they'll be separated. With a fake ID showing Spider as 18, she believes they can start a new life somewhere else. But Jessie refuses. She doesn't want to leave her school, her friends, or the only home she's ever known. Worse, she's not ready to walk away from their mother's memory. The argument escalates, emotions boil over, and in a flash of frustration, Spider slaps her. Before either can process what's happened, a car pulls up outside. Spider rushes to lock the door, but it's too late. Reese kicks it open and storms inside. He pins Spider against the wall, coldly stating that he knows JC is dead and that the girls have been using her welfare card. He offers to keep their secret for a price, $200 a month. Spider, terrified, agrees. But then Reese asks where Jessie is. When Spider lies and says she isn't home, his demeanor shifts. Predatory, he lunges towards Spider. As she fights him off, Jessie appears and bites Reese's ear in a desperate attempt to stop him. Furious, Reese knocks her unconscious. Time passes. Jessie awakens in Spider's lap. Reese is gone, shaken and bruised. Jessie quietly says she doesn't want to run anymore. Spider, tears streaming, apologizes and promises, "We don't have to." In the final scenes, the police arrive. The girls have told the truth. Spider, unsure and fragile, asks Ben if what she did was wrong. He gently replies, "You did everything you could to keep your family together. That's never wrong." Days later, JC's funeral is held. The sisters, side by side, place flowers on their mother's casket. In a quiet moment afterward, Cody comforts Spider in her grief. She opens the locket she managed to get back. Inside is a picture of her and Jessie as babies. As the film closes, Spider places the locket around her neck. In that small act, she chooses not just to remember, but to forgive. In the face of loss, trauma, and survival, she has found something she's long been searching for: peace.